Welcome to Youthful Lawyers Podcast, the podcast dedicated to youth rights and the laws that affect them. We're here to help young people and those who support them understand the rights, responsibilities, and protections that come with the law. We'll talk with experts, activists, and young leaders to bring you the insight and stories on how the law impacts young people and what they can do to advocate for the change. I'm today's host, Ihush. In today's episode, we will be interviewing International Youth Law with the co-founders Faraz Islam and Manav Jacob. Please introduce yourselves.
Okay, hi. My name is Manav. I am a high school student, and I worked with Faraz to create ILAW, which is International Youth Law. We are an international organization based in around 20 countries, and we are actively expanding. And our goal is simply to use this industry, the power that law has, to not only inspire the young generation to become lawyers, or if that's a path they want to take, but to use this opportunity to also create opportunities for those who have, who are underprivileged. So a big part of ILA is simply to give back to the underprivileged communities of the world who are in need of legal representation. And this is an incredible organization I think we've built, and it's one I look forward to going in the future.
And Faraz, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sorry. Hi guys, my name is Faraz, and along with Manav, we created this organization called ILAW. The basic founding principle of ILAW was that we recognized that if you were a debater, there's so many debate competitions for people out there. If you're into international relations, there are so many MUN conferences all over the world that you can attend. But if you're really interested in law, there is no such comparable international platform that allows people interested in law from all over the world to connect, to compete, to engage in political discourse. And we really wanted to fill that gap. And that's where ILAW truly comes from. But as Manav said, the other side of ILAW is that we recognize that because we are fortunate enough to be in a position where we can dedicate our time to debating these issues, it also means that we should recognize that privilege. We should recognize that honor that's been bestowed upon us. And we use that opportunity to uplift other people who may not have had those same opportunities. A key way that we do this is that through the funds we raise via registration fees for our competitions, we use those to eventually fund the representation of underprivileged minorities, in particular children. And I think it's a great way for us not only to bridge the gap in terms of the lack of law infrastructure for youth out there, but also to give back.
Thank you so much for sharing. So speaking of the funds, how are the funds collected and how much has been collected?
Okay, so in regard to our fundraising, ILA, like a big part of ILA is simply to, as Faraz has mentioned before, to raise money for these underprivileged communities, and we do so through not only the registration fees that we asked all of our participants to pay for all the different competitions we run, but also through fundraising drives. So we run online and physical conferences around the world, and during these competitions, we ask everyone to pay a small fee, and all this money is collated and is donated to NGOs that work with lawyers to provide this legal representation to underprivileged communities. And in addition, we also run fundraising campaigns in some of the schools that we're active in. These will simply be in different fairs or different events to raise money for our cause.
So how does the exact procedure for the debate or the competitions go?
We are actually quite unique in the sense that we have our own procedure. For everyone out there who's aware of the American Mock Trial Association and American Mock Trial, how that works entirely, the process is very preparation oriented. You sort of prepare for 2 or 3 months on this one case, and you beat it to death. There's so much preparation involved. It takes a lot of hard work, all for one weekend of actual speaking in the trial. And while that may be representative of what a trial looks like in the real world, we wanted to give people who are interested in law but are beginners who don't have that breadth of experience yet, we wanted to give them an opportunity to play on a level playing field with everybody else who might be interested in law. And so how our procedure works is that it all comes down to 75 minutes. We have 4 people on each side, for prosecution and for defense. And in each of these teams, we have 4 roles. We have the opening statements, we have the direct examination, we have the closing examination, and we have the closing arguments. Typically, each role is performed by a different team member. The opening statement is just an opportunity for teams to make their case, to introduce their case, and to give an overview of the points that they'll be making over the course of the trial. Then we have direct examination, which is where they interview their own witnesses, cross-examination where they interview the other side's witnesses, and then closing arguments to bring everything together and wrap everything up. In terms of our cases, they are all handwritten by us here at iLaw, by our case writing team, and these cases tend to be very, very short, as to minimize any preparation time that would be required. So they just generally have a case overview, what crime has been committed, who are the different people involved, who are the witnesses, and then teams are given this document, this case overview, at the beginning of those 75 minutes that I mentioned, and then they receive 30 minutes preparation time to get everything in order before we go underway with the trial. So preparation time and trial time counted. It all comes down to 75 minutes for a single trial.
Well, that sounds like a good opportunity for those who are interested in law. So what motivated you to start this organization?
We were motivated to start this organization simply because I think both Faraz and I have, and we observed that both of us have a shared passion for the field. However, starting off like 2 years ago, we also felt that, maybe we don't know as much about this field as we would like to, and we realized this opportunity to, learn about the field of law isn't as prominent outside the U.S. for international students and for people from different backgrounds. And if you were to look at the U.S., you would see that the mock trial infrastructure is very vast. It's very it's quite wide, whereas outside the U.S. the same infrastructure is not it's not available. And we felt that, why don't we start something? Why don't we do our part in making sure this opportunity is available to all students, regardless of background, regardless of where you're from, regardless of where you are in the world? Because we can also run online conferences. We can give this opportunity to people from everywhere, from all different backgrounds. And I felt that's the heart of iLaw. That's what we are. We are an opportunity for people from all backgrounds to learn about the field of law.
Was there any obstacles or any challenges that you went through throughout your journey of making your organization?
Of course, it hasn't been easy from the very beginning to start this organization, but with a lot of things, I think the hardest part was just getting started. The hardest part was for us to say, okay, we have this idea, but we're actually going to put in the work to make it happen. And I think once we got through that stage, everything just became so much easier. And yeah, while it hasn't been 100% smooth sailing along the way, and challenges have presented themselves, thankfully we've been able to overcome each of them with flying colors. I think something that has honestly really helped is that before starting this organization, we've both been involved in different internships, working for different other organizations who utilize our skills, and be it writing or website design or case writing or marketing or social media or any of these other things. And we've been using these skills to benefit other organizations in various internships that we've done. But here, this really gave us the opportunity to take all of those skills that we've learned, take all of those skills that we've refined, and take all of those skills that we've perfected and really package it together in something that furthers a goal for us. And I think that was honestly a massive factor in determining the sheer speed at which we've been able to undertake iLaw so far. We've been running only for a couple of years now, and we're already in 20 countries, and we're constantly looking to expand to more.
Yeah, absolutely. And to add to Faraz's point, I think that one of the main challenges that we've been facing is balancing inclusivity with quality. So ensuring that every participant that takes part in our competitions feels heard and respected while maintaining a high standard of debate is essential, but it can also be complex, especially with such a global reach that ILA has. And in addition, organizing events across multiple time zones and securing these different sponsors for funding has been challenging, but at the same time has been rewarding because of the impact we've been able to make because of them.
While on the opposite side, could you share your accomplishments with us?
Yeah. So I think we've touched on this a little bit already, but ever since starting our organization, we have grown to be in over 20 countries. This means we've either opened chapters in these countries, or we've hosted competitions in those countries, or we generally have running operations in them via a chapter. And yeah, we've run a bunch of competitions in various countries. But on top of that, perhaps one of our newer accomplishments is that this summer we hosted an online competition for the first time, connecting people from all over the world, as the name of the organization seeks to promise. This was also a free event, so all our judges involved were completely doing this out of their own free time and of their own free will. They were not compensated in any way. And what this meant was that although we couldn't charge a registration fee and use those funds for charity, what it did allow us to do is it made it free and accessible to every person out there who may not have the resources, who may not have the funds to partake in ILA debate. And we were really, really impressed with the level of diversity that we saw in that competition. I think we had people from 35 countries, from all walks of life, from I think 6 continents, and so that was really impressive. And perhaps that is our biggest accomplishment, not how many participants or how many countries we have been able to set up operations in, not how much money we've been able to raise, but truly the people that we've been able to unite, and the people who benefit from our organization as a whole.
Are there any entry requirements, maybe age limits in these competitions?
Yeah. So we do welcome students aged around 13 to 18. So primarily it is high school students and late middle school students. And for hosting in particular, we prefer applicants in grades 10 to 12 to ensure that they have the necessary experience, although passionate and capable younger applicants are also considered. And for debaters, we mainly focus on passion, curiosity, and a willingness to engage in meaningful dialogue.
Are the competitions mostly online or in-person events that people can join?
It's really a combination of both. We try to have in-person events in different cities and different countries, and what that allows us to do is to connect the people within those countries and cities. For example, just yesterday we were talking and planning our event in Bahrain. What this allows us to do, what it allows the people of Bahrain to do, is that whether or not you're from Manama, which is the capital of Bahrain, or you're from slightly outside, maybe you're from the suburbs, maybe you're from the slightly more rural parts, but it gives us the opportunity to connect people within a local context together, and that has great impacts for them. Obviously, it's very different being and attending an online competition versus an in-person one, but we feel that there is value in both. But that's not to say that we don't do online competitions either. As mentioned, we've done one in this summer, and we are proud to present our second edition, which will be taking place on January 25th and 26th in this upcoming year. So we try to keep it somewhat close to the holidays, so that people are able to attend in greater numbers. But in addition to those 2 competition frameworks, we are also active in the education sphere, because we want not only for people around the world to compete against each other, but also for them to learn. And while a great way of learning is through doing and through actually participating in these competitions, there's also a lot of work and a lot of learning to be done in the classroom per se. And that is why we are proud to announce that we will soon be releasing a webinar/workshop series on Schoolhouse. And this will give us the opportunity to interact with students to carry out these webinars and workshops hosted by speakers who have experience in their fields, and generally so that people of all age groups will have an opportunity to learn.
How can our listeners get involved, for example, in the position for a judge or a debater, or just like an assistant or volunteer? How are they able to participate?
Oh, that's a lovely question. I think it's something that we actually do want to talk about, because for all of your listeners and to your audience, to apply as a country host, our candidates must demonstrate an understanding of ILA's mission, our organization, and they also have to demonstrate organizational skills and a commitment to create an inclusive and an impactful experience for participants. So we do look for leaders who can bring together talented debaters, mentors, and judges. And to participate as a debater, our applicants simply need to register through our website. We offer spots for different skill levels, so even like beginners are encouraged to join. And this inclusivity is the key to our mission at ILA. If you can also just simply reach out to us on Instagram. We are very active on our account, or on LinkedIn. And yeah, we would always love to have more people from a more diverse array of countries and more diverse array of backgrounds. So if you're listening and if this is an idea that's at all interesting to you, please do reach out.
As well, just to add on to that, we will be releasing actually today a form, so that anybody out there who's interested in creating a chapter in their school, perhaps we don't have operations in that country already, or perhaps even if we do, if you'd like to start a chapter in your school, we will be releasing a form so that you can submit your name and a couple of basic details, and then we'll be in touch with you. We've got a great deal of resources. We've got a fantastic team, and we're ever confident that we will be able to support you in creating and sustaining your own IY Law chapter.
Speaking of chapters, is there a specific way that you pick your locations of like where to host it and where to operate?
Okay.
Of course. Manav, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, so we aim to launch like localized chapters. So this allows for more frequent and more accessible mock trials on a regional level. But we're also looking into digital tools to better support our international community. And this is through like an online platform with resources, with guides, and like a community forum for networking and discussion about the field of law between high school students. And our ultimate vision is to establish ILA as a well-recognized platform that nurtures future leaders in law and social justice. So we want to be an international community. And as such, we invite any students from any different country to reach out and open a chapter in their school. We aren't specifically looking for, this specific country or that specific area. Any and all people who are interested, we are happy to support.
When is your next location going to be happening? And if you could elaborate more on what will be happening on that day?
Yeah, I think in terms of our next location, I'll just tell you about our next event that's going to be happening. And it is going to be happening in Almaty in Kazakhstan. And it is going to be happening on the 22nd and 23rd of November. So this is not a traditional iLaw event in the sense that it's a collaboration with MUN. It's an international relations law crossover in Almaty, which will offer students not only an opportunity to debate upon topical issues related to law, but also to connect that with how that impacts international diplomacy and how these different laws and the applications of these laws impact countries as a whole and on the international scale. So yeah, we're really excited for that. If you do reside in Almaty, Kazakhstan, and you're listening to this and you're like, I would love to sign up for that, go to our iLaw website, www.ilaw.org/Kazakhstan, or alternatively, you can find the sign up link and additional information on our Instagram and our LinkedIn. So for sure, we are looking forward to making that event a great success.
For those who are participated, is there any awards or recognition rewarded?
Oh yeah, sure. So in regard to rewards or awards and commendations that we do give, we do offer awards recognizing excellence in argumentation, collaboration, and research. And our winning debaters receive formal recognition, and all of our participants are provided with certificates. And in addition, outstanding debaters may receive scholarships for future conferences or mentorship opportunities to continue developing their skills. And at the end of all of our conferences, we do award the winning teams and the best and most outstanding advocates with a trophy. to commend the effort that they've done over the course of the conferences that we won.
What would be your future goal, or like how do you wish to expand your organization further on in the future?
As always, we're always looking to expand and expand further. So we would really like to get into as many countries and as many new markets and as many new schools as possible. And of course, perhaps most importantly, we would love to increase the amount of money and the amount of impact that we're able to have on our community partners. So really, I think the future of iLaw, looking forward, is going to be a very much centered on our social impact mission. And the greater impact that we can have, the greater success that iLaw is.
What would you say what makes International Youth Law special?
Okay, that's a really interesting question. I'd say that iLaw is different to anything else you'd find in the world because, as Faraz mentioned before, I am an ardent MUNer, if you can say that, and Faraz, of course, is an ardent debater. And we attend these different conferences, we attend these different competitions, and we see students who are passionate about the things that they are doing. However, we don't see that same opportunity for law students or for prospective lawyers, and we feel that iLaw is that opportunity. iLaw is a platform for high school students to develop their understanding of the field of law and then to develop as future lawyers. So if you were to look online, if you were to search up, international mock trial, you may find a few different competitions, but iLaw is the sole international platform for students interested in the field of law who wish to do mock trial on an international scale. It is primarily most of the mock trial competitions that you would see online are based in the US and are extremely US centric, but iLaw aims to combat that inequality, if you could say, to provide the same opportunity and the same platform for students of all different backgrounds.
To finish off, is there any more comments or any opportunities that you could expand on?
Yeah. So I think just to reiterate, if we haven't said it already, our main goal is to expand and to expand further. So if you're somebody who's listening to this, who is interested in law and who would like to be part of iLaw as an organization in terms of perhaps setting up a chapter at your school, or perhaps even being involved in our leadership team for running the organization as a whole. If that is something that interests you, number one, be on the lookout for any forms that we release today. But number two, just send us an email. We would love to collaborate with you. We would love to bring you on board. And we really think that collaboration is the key. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Don't hesitate in the slightest. Get in contact with us. And I look forward to seeing what we can do together.
I feel like International Youth Law is a great opportunity for everyone to join, even if it's not hosted in your country. I believe that you could join the upcoming webinar, or the online events that will be happening soon. Is there additional comments that you would like to add before we wrap up our podcast?
Not really. I think we've covered a lot of the content that we wanted to over the course of this podcast. I'd like to simply say thank you. Thank you for having us on the podcast. Thank you for giving us this platform and this opportunity to speak about something that we are truly passionate about. This project is something that we've been working on for the past couple of years, and it's something that we truly care for and that we're inspired to keep growing it and to keep giving more students the opportunity to come on board and to get something out of this organization that we've built. So thank you for giving us this opportunity. Thank you for having us in your wonderful podcast. And yeah, we hope to see you sometime soon.
Thank you for being on our podcast. And I feel like this opportunity is really great for everyone, even if you're a beginner debater. I feel like it would be a great way to start off your journey with International Youth Law. Thank you, guys.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.